When you think about dinosaurs, I bet your mind jumps straight to Jurassic Park, right? Well, today we're going to skip the Jurassic. We are fast forwarding to the final, the most dramatic, and you could argue the most spectacular chapter in the entire age of dinosaurs, the Cretaceous period. And we're going to kick things off with a massive question. What if that final chapter never actually ended? What if the dinosaurs never went extinct? Now, you're going to want to stick around because by the end of all this, we're going to really dig into what our world might look like today.
Okay, let's dive right in. The Cretaceous wasn't just another period. It was a time of epic, world-altering change. This was the grand finale for a dynasty that lasted 180 million years. This is when dinosaurs truly hit their peak, in both sheer diversity and mind-boggling size, which led to some of the most legendary showdowns in Earth's entire history.
To really put this in perspective, the whole Mesozoic era is split into three parts. The Cretaceous period alone, stretching from 145 to 66 million years ago, was this immense slice of time. Get this, it lasted longer than all the time that's passed since the dinosaurs disappeared. That's more than enough time for completely new families of dinosaurs to rise up, evolve, and totally dominate the planet.
So, what was the biggest thing happening to the planet itself? Well, the single most important event was the breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea. As these huge landmasses started drifting apart, they created isolated continents, kind of like giant evolutionary laboratories. This separation was the real engine of evolution, pushing dinosaurs into new environments and sparking an absolute explosion of unique species all across the globe.
So, let's kick off our world tour in a pretty familiar place, the Americas. This is the stomping ground for some of the most famous dinosaurs ever, from the undisputed king of predators in the north to the largest land animal of all time in the south. In North America, you've got the ultimate heavyweight matchup. In one corner, the Tyrannosaurus rex, a 39-foot-long killing machine. And in the other, the Triceratops, basically a 12-ton, three-horned walking fortress. And we know they fought. Fossil evidence shows these two clashed all the time. It was a true battle between an unstoppable force and an immovable object.
So what made T-Rex so unstoppable? Well, for starters, its bite force was over 12,800 pounds. That's powerful enough to just shatter bone. Combine that with a surprisingly fast running speed of up to 20 miles per hour, and what you have is a terrifyingly efficient hunter. No question. Now, as incredible as T-Rex was, that continental split we talked about meant that a completely different evolutionary story was playing out down south. Honestly, the dinosaurs of South America were on another level entirely. We're talking creatures so massive they almost defy imagination.
100 tons. Just let that number sink in. That's the estimated weight of Argentinosaurus. This absolute giant was so colossal that once it reached adulthood, it was pretty much immune to predators. And here's a crazy fact. Growth lines in its bones suggest it could live for up to 100 years. A true titan.
All right, let's hop across the ancient oceans to Asia and Africa. Because the continents were separated, you had these incredible but very different dinosaurs evolving here. Everything from fearsome cousins of T-Rex to these highly specialized hunters that lived in the water. So in Asia, the top predator job was filled by Tarbosaurus. Now, it's a super close relative of T-Rex and nearly as big, but it was its own distinct species. The main difference? Tarbosaurus had a longer skull and a less bulky build, which probably means it had a different, but you can bet no less deadly, style of hunting. Speaking of Asian dinosaurs, we have to talk about Velociraptor. And first things first, forget the movies. The real animal was about 6.5 feet long and covered in feathers. But don't let its size fool you. With a pretty big brain for its size, that lethal sickle claw on each foot, and a pack hunting strategy, these things were smart, coordinated, and absolutely lethal predators. And we have amazing proof of their ferocity thanks to one of the most famous fossils ever found. Discovered in Mongolia, they call it the fighting dinosaurs. It literally captures a velociraptor locked in a life-or-death battle with a protoceratops. It's an unbelievable snapshot from 75 million years ago, proving these were aggressive, active hunters. Meanwhile, over in Africa, we find one of the most unique dinosaurs ever discovered, Spinosaurus. This thing was a semi-aquatic terror. It was actually longer than a T-Rex, with webbed feet, a long snout like a crocodile perfect for snatching fish, and of course that massive, mysterious sail on its back. It was a master of the rivers and shores, a completely different kind of killer. You know, dinosaurs didn't just live in lush tropical jungles. They conquered the entire planet.
They adapted to thrive in some of the most extreme environments you can imagine, from the skies over Europe to the polar darkness of ancient Australia.
Over in Europe, fossils of Archaeopteryx revealed this crucial evolutionary link, the one between dinosaurs and birds. I mean, it had feathers and a wishbone just like a modern bird, but it also had teeth and a bony tail like a small reptile. This discovery was a total game changer, and it fundamentally changed how we understand where birds came from.
And way down in what is now Australia, which was much closer to the South Pole back then, you had small dinosaurs like Lielinosaura that lived through months of total polar darkness. So how'd they do it? They adapted with these huge eyes to see in the dim light, insulating filaments that acted like fur for warmth, and a small body to save energy during those brutal winters. Just an amazing example of adaptation.
So our journey through the Cretaceous has shown us this incredible, vibrant world just teeming with life. But it all came to a sudden, catastrophic end. The 180 million year reign of the dinosaurs was about to be wiped from the face of the Earth in the blink of an eye. The culprit was the KPG extinction event. About 66 million years ago, a 6-mile-wide asteroid slammed into the planet. The impact triggered massive earthquakes and tsunamis, and it threw a thick cloud of dust into the atmosphere that blocked out the sun, causing a total global collapse of ecosystems. It was, quite literally, the end of an era.
And that brings us right back to our opening question. That asteroid ended the age of dinosaurs and paved the way for mammals, and eventually us, to take over. But what if it had missed? Let's spend our last few moments on that thought experiment.
So yeah, what if? What if that day just never happened? What would a world where the dinosaurs survived even look like today?
Well, for starters, the dinosaurs would have just kept on evolving. We'd probably have forms even more diverse and specialized than anything we've seen. Mammals? They would have likely stayed small, living in the shadows of these giants, forced to evolve totally different survival strategies, maybe becoming even more nocturnal or way smarter. The entire animal kingdom as we know it would be completely unrecognizable.
Which leads us to one final, pretty chilling question. If humanity had somehow, against all odds, managed to evolve in a world still dominated by these incredible creatures, would we be the planet's apex predator, or would we just be another animal on the menu? Something to think about.